It started with a meeting I almost missed. Monday morning, 8:59 a.m. Coffee in one hand, laptop barely awake, and my heart still somewhere between exhaustion and caffeine. She walked in just as I slid into the boardroom. A new hire, project consultant from the Toronto office. Confident posture, calm face, a hint of curiosity in her eyes that seemed to measure everything and everyone. "Hi, I'm Maya," she said, extending her hand. I shook it, said my name, and immediately forgot what the meeting was about. The next 45 minutes were numbers, slides, forecasts, and voices I half heard. But her presence was strangely loud, like the quiet hum of a song that refuses to leave your head. After the meeting, she asked, "Do you have the updated data sheet for Q3? I had it. I just didn't have the courage to sound normal while handing it over. We started collaborating the next day. Same deadlines, shared spreadsheets, late emails. It was efficient, polite, professional. And underneath all that, something was beginning to move quietly. She worked with precision. Every note she wrote had clarity. Every line she spoke had purpose. I admired that, maybe too much. One evening, we both stayed late. The office lights had dimmed to half brightness. The cleaners were somewhere down the hall. She looked up from her screen and said, "You ever notice how silence in an empty office feels heavier?" I nodded. "Yeah, like it remembers every conversation that's ever happened here." We both smiled. That was the first real conversation. Not about data or timelines, but about something invisible, like the feeling of existing next to someone who sees the same quiet things you do. Days turned into weeks. Our messages became longer, our glances more frequent. The work chemistry started blurring into something more personal, though neither of us said it out loud. Sometimes our hands brushed while reaching for the same printout. Once, we both grabbed coffee from the machine at the same second, and the way she laughed, like it surprised her too, stayed with me all day. There was no grand confession, just moments, like passing notes without words. Then came the first conflict, a miscommunication over project deadlines, the kind that wasn't really about work. She was frustrated, and I was defensive. We didn't talk for 3 days. Those 3 days felt like a month. On the 4th day, I saw her sitting alone in the break room staring into her tea. I walked in, stopped halfway and said, "You were right. I overreacted." She looked up. The tension softened. "So did I," she whispered. "I guess we both care too much." We sat there quietly, the air between us resetting itself. I didn't realize how much I'd missed her voice until that moment. After that, something shifted. We weren't careful anymore. We didn't try to hide the way we looked at each other when no one was watching. There was a team dinner one Friday. A long table, dim lights, glasses clinking. She sat beside me, her shoulder brushing mine now and then. When she laughed, it felt like the room got warmer. Later that night, while everyone was leaving, she turned to me and said softly, "Do you want to walk a bit?" We walked down the quiet downtown street, our shadows long and merging under the streetlights. She told me about her life in Toronto, how she'd left behind a comfortable job to start over. I told her about my own reasons for staying here: comfort, fear, maybe habit. At a crosswalk, she looked up at me and said, "You ever think about how much we don't say out loud?" "All the time," I replied. She smiled, and before the light changed, she whispered, "Maybe it's time we do." That night we kissed. It just happened. Something unspoken had already started writing itself between us. The next few weeks were different. Every meeting, every shared space carried that quiet awareness. She'd glance at me from across the room, and it was enough to ground me in the middle of chaos. But work has its ways of testing emotions. Deadlines grew tighter, and Maya was offered a promotion, back in Toronto. She didn't tell me right away. I found out through an email from HR. When I asked her, she said, "I didn't know how to tell you. I haven't decided yet." I tried to sound unaffected. "You should take it. It's a great opportunity." She looked at me with disbelief. "That's all you're going to say?" I hesitated. What else should I say? "Something real," she said quietly. "Something that doesn't sound like a memo." I didn't sleep that night. I kept replaying her words. Something real. The next morning I walked into the office before everyone else. She was there too, staring at the sunrise through the glass wall. "I don't want you to go," I said. The words came out raw, unpolished. "Not because of work, because I can't imagine walking in here without you." She turned, her eyes wet but steady. That's all I wanted to hear. For a moment, everything else, projects, timelines, offices, disappeared. There was only her, standing in the quiet glow of morning light. Her hands over my chest, my hands round her waist. We packed close to each other, our breath mixing with each other. I can smell that pure smell of her soul and feel the glowing warmth coming out of her body. We didn't make any promises that day, just a simple agreement to stay, to try, to see where this could go. Months passed. Work didn't get easier, but somehow everything felt lighter. She stayed, not just in the city, but in the spaces between my days. We built something real in the middle of schedules and spreadsheets, a kind of love that grew between deadlines and heartbeats. Sometimes I think about that first meeting, the coffee, the rush, the chaos, and how I almost missed it. But love, like timing, has a way of showing up just when you think you're too busy for it. And now, every morning when I walk into the office, I still see her smile from across the room and remember that life isn't about waiting for the right moment. It's about noticing the person who makes even ordinary ones feel like home. So if you have someone around you who makes you feel like home, don't wait for the right moment, as every moment is right when you make it.